Hello, my friend. Are you ready to use some more window envelopes? I thought today I would show you how I made some shaker cards from window envelopes. And I think these are fun to have in your journals. You can have it as a place to have a little writing space on the back, as just a fun thing to tuck into a pocket to have some little interaction with your journal. You can clip it on a page, or you can just tuck it behind a tuck spot, or use it however you choose. You could sit it in Happy Mail as well. I have some of these envelopes out today that have this background on them, and I'm not going to use that on this one that I'm going to make. I'm going to use this plain one, which has this big wide window in the envelope. But one thing I wanted to mention is the ones that have the security paper in the back. One of the options you can do when you make an envelope from it, or make a shaker card from it, is cut it open. Let me just do this one. I like this design on this. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, 1940s, 1930s fabric. Maybe even feed sack fabric. So I'm just trimming off the ends. This is another part that I wanted to mention. I tried a different way of working on these, and I discovered that the best thing to do is just open up the ends and fold this down, and then you have this space to work, and you can put your items on here, and then you glue and turn this up and seal it. Put it down to the right size, of course, but you can do it that way. But if you use this one, you could turn it inside out where you have a design on the outside like that, and then cut it down to the size you want. You would need to put something on the back to cover up the tight back there, and then you could put washi tape around the window here, or just some ribbon, or leave it like that. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, I thought that was a neat idea to use the window envelopes with the security paper on them. And this one has, I think you'd probably have to do some work on this piece here. Maybe put a piece of paper over the back of it. But that's an idea for how to use the window envelopes that have fun security paper on them. I don't know about this one. This one's kind of wild in my opinion, but it still might be fun. It kind of looks like a naughty pine or something. This one has just this kind of design in it. Just a little sort of checky thing. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to work on this one, which is the one I'm going to make today. And I'm going to do the same thing with it. I'm going to cut it open so I can fold it down flat. And I'm going to end up taking off some of this, and I may do it now, as a matter of fact. But I'm just going to use my scissors. You could use a knife and a ruler to cut this off. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut off just a sliver there. I'm not going to worry about a sliver on that end. I'm going to cut it down just below this important there. And I may take some more of that off when I go to work on it. And then I'm going to cut this top edge so we can fold it down and have an open space to work. A little deep there. You may want to use a knife to cut it, because my scissor skill right there wasn't that great. But anyway, you can also straighten it up later, or put some lace on the edge, or do whatever to camouflage your mistakes. I'm big on camouflaging mistakes because I generally make some. Okay, so now we have this, and we can open it up, and I consider this part to be my palette, if you will, for what I'm going to put in this envelope to make it a shaker envelope. And I'm taking off that piece there, and I need to glue that. Get some glue on here. Get that glued down. Okay. Actually, I want this way, because when I fold it up, I think about this being the front, the top. Really, it's going to be this way, I think. I think it's going to be a tall, narrow, instead of wide. So the theme for this one, you can have all kinds of themes. I did some earlier. Well, I'll just show you what I've done. I did this one. It has a embossed background. It's this embossed design. And on this one, I just took my ink dauber and just went over it and picked up the embossed part with the ink. But I didn't do that on this one. I just have the embossed design in it. But I just wanted to show you what the design looks like because it doesn't show up very well on camera. And this one is buttons and like a bead or two, a little bit of ribbon, a safety pin, a sequin, and I put a little bit of lace up here with some thread just kind of wound around. It's gold thread on that. I don't know if you can see that or not. And a button up there. So that's one that I did. This one is a sewing theme. I think I did the white one first and decided to do a more elaborate sewing theme. And it's really busy. And from this one I learned that it's probably better not to have so many pieces in here. I really loaded this one up. I've got some little hearts. I've got 3 of those. I've got 3 straight pins that have bead heads on them that I put in this piece of fabric. And I glued the background on to the back of the envelope. And it's a seam binding package, a button card that had 1 button left on it, a little piece of fabric, and this is a little sketch that my mother did. She liked to copy quilt patterns, and so she made a little sketch of one that she had seen in an antique store or thrift store. I don't know where she saw it, but she and my aunt used to love to go out and shop and find things find crafty things to do, and a lot of it was sewing for mother. Anyway, that is that one, and then this one is one I did that's it's a horizontal format, and it's a travel theme. So it's got an old map piece back there for the background, and then just some bling and some. That's a die cut, but it's a stamp, postage stamp. That's a stamp that I stamped on that yellow paper. It's called Mountain Hotel, and I cut it out around it, and then I inked the edge to camouflage that I didn't do such a great job of cutting it out. And then it's got some little beads in there, and I put a seed bead and some other things in there to kind of raise it up. I glued it in place in these two places, these little pieces of bling. But I'm not so sure it's a good idea to glue something to the background because it can cause your other pieces to get hung up on it. So it's just kind of a learning process for me. I'm not an expert in this, but I've been having some fun making them. Okay, so we're back to this piece, and what I thought I would do on this piece is to have a tea theme. This is a Hobby Lobby die cut for a little plate, Paper Studio, and I have a tea tag. I'm not sure I'm going to use that or not, but I thought I'd pull it out. And then this little bling butterfly that came out of this bangle mix that I got at Walmart. It was about $3.88, something like that. And there's a bunch in there. It's 4 ounces. I have no idea how many pieces it is, but it's a lot. And I had some other little pieces here that I was going to put in there. I have a little key that's a charm. I thought that'd be cute in there just because I like keys. And then these are some of the spangles that I pulled out of the package. There's a flower type deal. This is a little gold one. I think I tend to want to put a whole bunch of stuff in the shaker, and I think it's better not to have a whole lot in there. These are some little like dyed shells that came off of a roll of. Well, I don't know what it is. Maybe you can tell me what it is. I got this at a thrift store recently. I'm going to put the rest of these down so I don't have them in my hand. Here's the beginning of it. It's got adhesive on the back of it. It's got this gold mesh behind these pebble things or shells. I don't know what they are. I was pulling a few of the pink ones off down here to put in this shaker. There's a sequin that was trying to get loose. But it's got it's like tape on the back. It's got this plastic adhesive thing that you pull off, and this is really sticky. So I don't know what you're supposed to use it for. It caught my eye because it was colorful, and it wasn't a whole lot of money. I think it was $2 and something. $2.55. But I thought it'd be pretty to put on a spine maybe, or on the cover of a book, maybe just a piece of it or something. Anyway, I fell for it. If you have any ideas about what it was for or what you use it for, I'd like to hear it. Okay, back to the project. I'm keeping this one with just the white background, I think, because these are kind of colorful things in here. I have a sticker book from Hobby Lobby. It's the Paper Studio Stickabilities. And it has this teapot sticker in there. And what I thought I'd do is take it off and stick it onto just a heavyweight index card that I had some other things on there at one time or the other. And then I'm just going to fussy cut it out and hopefully not make a mess of it. And maybe since this is white and this is white, it won't show up too much if I have a little bit of white around the edge. Okay, let's just do this as quickly and carefully as possible. Some other ideas for themes include things that that you're interested in. You could do, I did the sewing and travel. I think those are fun. You can generally find items that have that theme, travel things, and like tickets and oh, like that luggage sticker that I had on the other one. What else? Maps, stamps. I used a postage. I used this stamp, which is, it's French postmark things, and I used that to kind of decorate this corner up here with that. I was pleased with how this one looks. The shaker part of it is not real. It wants to bunch up. These pieces, these paper pieces, want to collect together and don't slide very easily. So it's not the perfect shaker card. But anyway, I'll get this one cut out. I'm trying to go slow with it so I don't make it look too bad. Doing things on camera makes it a little more difficult every time, of course. At least for me it does. I'm going to cut those little corners there a little flatter. And get the spout. I'm not going to try to cut out in that handle. That's too hard, and it probably won't show up that it's, see it on the white, it just disappears. So anyway, that's, I think that's all I'm going to put in here. It's probably too much. Okay, let's see how it looks in here. Now, the one tip I want to mention right now is when you go to glue this down, be sure when you glue it to glue as close as you can to the window, so that some of these little things like to get up, and like the sequins are bad about getting in that area, and maybe seed beads are too. So I would just recommend gluing very close to there if you can do that. Okay, let's just go ahead and see if I can do this. And then you want to go out to the edge also, but this part is just to get it stuck down really close to the window, and I got over the window right there. That's not good. Also, you can sew around these. I'll show you on the other one I did. The sewing one particularly, I sewed around it. Okay, let's just put some glue right down here and up across here. I'm using Fabri-Tac on this because I think it'll stick better. You can use whatever glue you feel confident with. I'm going to cut this back some, so I'll just put some glue here and then I can take care of that. One other thing I want to do, though, before I close this up is to put just a few seed beads in here, mainly to give it a little space between the background and the plastic so the other things can slide around a little bit. And I'm going to put 2 of these gold ones. These are bedazzled. There we go. I'll just put a couple of those. There's one. I'll put 3 of those. It's probably too many. See, I have way too much stuff in here. I'm going to take out that piece. Well, I'm going to take out this piece. And these are a little bigger beads. I'm going to put 3 of those in there. And hope that's not too much stuff in there. Hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, so I better close it up before the glue gets any drier. I think that was all I was going to do to that. So I need to pull these back out from the edge there. Make sure my sequins are turned the right way. Okay. There we go. Now that bead is kind of bigger, so it's sticking up there. But hopefully it will shake around pretty good. Flatten it out a little bit. Okay. Now what I thought I would do on this one, I have this butterfly. It's also out of that same. This piece was a die cut, and it's also from Hobby Lobby. See, that's already getting under there, but anyway. I thought I'd put that on there. It says important there. I don't know about that. And I could put this on the outside if I wanted to. Just kind of wrap the string around there. Maybe even put it under the butterfly. I think I like that. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. Actually, first I'm going to use some of this washi tape on this edge over Endurance, just for the fun of it. I guess Endurance is okay. I don't know what that was. It's probably some insurance thing or something like that. Is that the right way or is that the right way? I think that goes this way. And I'm just going to put it right at the edge of that window, like that. And it's a little bit wide. So I'll probably just trim it off. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this down over here. I want the string to stick out a little bit so that it just has a little interest from that. And I'm going to put it right about there. It's kind of covering up important. Maybe I'll move it over just a tiny bit. I think I need a little more glue under here. Doesn't seem to be sticking down. And then I'm going to put this butterfly over that. Okay. Let's see. Put it there. Like that. And I'm going to trim this off because it's such a tiny bit. I don't think it would fold over to the back at all. I think I just cut through the edge of the paper there. I'm going to straighten this up just a little bit and keep it just like this. Okay. So we've got that. It's not very fun watching me shake it, so I'll cut most of that out. But I just trying to get these beads and things, you know, kind of not bunched up together, which is kind of what they want to do. I don't know how you stop that. So anyway, there is our Tea Proudly one. And since the back is blank, now you could either leave it like this, just as a writing space, or you could put a pocket on it. You could make these into gift cards by putting a pocket on it, and you could just tuck a gift card in the back, or some money. You know, that'd be cute to do. You could have it like it's a invitation almost to do something. You know, if, say your granddaughter, you want to take her out for a tea at a special thing, you can have this as the invitation that you want to do that with her. So that's a thought. Now, what I'm going to do is make it into a scripture card. Okay, I wish that was flatter, but it's not, so I'll just have to live with it. I did this. It's just my handwriting, and it's not that great, and I made a mistake, and I had to cover it up, so I have to ignore that. But I'm going to glue it on here. It could be a pocket, too. I could glue it on as a pocket. I may do that. Can't have too many pockets. Okay. If I can get in the right spot. Some of the other themes I thought about for these shaker cards, I thought about keys being a fun theme for a shaker card. And you could put, you could use stamped keys. I have a stamp of a, glue on there. You could add some lace below that. I think I probably will do that too. And then you have the pocket over here that you could put whatever you wanted to, another card or whatever into that. I don't think this is real straight right here. I'm going to try to get that a little straighter. I'm not the best with the scissors. It shows up more on the back that it's not straight than it does on the front with your eyes distracted by that washi tape. That is that shaker. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do with it is I have a friend of mine gave me these little charms that are, it's called Bead Landing, and it's by Pemberley. I've had them for quite a long time. And it has the little mugs and plates and teacups. And I thought I'd put one of these teacup charms on the corner. I was thinking about hanging it off this side. Just put an eyelet there and have it hanging there. I don't know if that's where I want it or not, because maybe it would be better down here, just tied on. I might do that, just put it at the bottom. So I have a white eyelet I'm going to put on. And I want it to hang just... Now, if I put it here, when it goes on a page, if you clip it on a page, which I would clip this on a page, it needs to be clipped on a left-hand page so that this is basically hanging off the edge of the page so that it's not causing this big lump in your book. And this might not be something you want to do, but I thought it'd be fun to have it on there. And since I've never used any of those, I thought it was about time. That's my New Year's resolution, if I have one. I don't really do those, but to start using things instead of just, oh, that's too good. Oh, I like that too much. I don't want to mess it up. You know, those thoughts. Maybe nobody else is like that, but I am. And my mother was. I got it from her. And, you know, you can't save things forever, because what's the point? Okay, I hope I'm doing this the right way. I always get confused. I did. Okay. It kind of messed that up right there on that edge of that card because it was on the edge of the card, but that's okay. I'm going to put a little bit of ribbon on there and tie that on. I was thinking I'd use pink, but since I have this gold handy, I'm going to use it. If I change my mind, I can always come back and do it again later. Okay. Just going to put it through that little jump ring there, if I can get it to go through. Okay. I think I'm going to tie it first. I'm going to tie a knot, and then I'm going to run it through there, through the eyelet. Put it through the eyelet. And tie another knot. Let's see. I think I'm going to tie it where it's hanging across the edge there. And then I'm going to tie a bow. And that's way too big, so I'm going to pull it down to a little small bow. Okay. And then I'm going to trim off this long one. It's a little bit too long to suit me. And that one. I wanted to mention some of the things you can use for your shaker pieces. In addition to the flat charms, I have some other little flat charms here. What do I do with them? Oh, here they are. Snake, it would have bit me. Little flat charms. This key is a darker one like that. That came in a package from Walmart of various little keys. This is a little hummingbird that was in a nature-themed charm pack, and it also had this maple leaf in that one. And that's a good one because this one particularly is flat. This one's a little bit bigger, and of course this one is causing it to kind of stand up there. So charms, I have a set of stamps that has these tiny little tickets, and it says book club on it. I made a shaker that had a book club theme. You can use die cuts, whether you use your machine to cut them or not. For this one that I did, this is my first round of these, and I did this quite a while ago. But this holly leaf deal is a die cut that I cut and put in this one. And these shake better than the ones that have these big pieces of paper, I've discovered. So that's a thought. Maybe keep everything fairly small. And some of these spangles came out of the this bag. I have punches. These little punches. This one is a butterfly, and this one is a heart. And you could punch some. You could punch paper, fairly thick cardstock with those, and use that in there if you wanted to do that. This is a paint chip, and this would be a good thing to punch pieces off of because it's slick and it would slide well in the shaker. You could use large glitter in these. Small glitter is, use that at your own risk. It would be pretty if you could get it sealed up real good and not have it seeping out somehow. But I'm going to stay away from that. But larger glitter, they have some that's pretty good size. It's quite as big as a sequin, but it's pretty good size. So anyway, there it is. And that's the little teacup on the edge there. I hope you think that's cute. Whoops, here we go. Oh, I was going to mention about stitching around this edge to keep things from getting in under there. If you glue real close to it, it generally keeps it from getting in there. But I decided to stitch on this one, especially since this was a sewing theme. And I went around as close as I could on the first one. It wasn't too perfect. And so I just went back around and did this kind of back and forth design, just a kind of a messy design to kind of camouflage that I'd made mistakes to begin with. But those are just some little charms I had there. And these are buttons, of course. That's always fun to put in a shaker. I do think that fewer items is better because this kind of gets caught up on each other. But then, it's whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Background for them, I would recommend thinner paper so you're not building up too much levels in here. I'm not sure, but it might be better to glue down the big pieces and just have the small things that go around them. I think that might work better. Another thing you can use them for is a bookmark. I made some. This was another one that I made in the first go round. I have that video, and I will link to it below if you want to check it out. This envelope has this long window on it, and so I put some scrapbooking paper that had. This was a kind of a holiday one. Packages on it, and then I added my beads and things to it. But see, this, I didn't glue it up close to the window. It shakes pretty good, but these things get stuck up under there. So that was a lesson learned, I think, on that. But this would be a fun bookmark to put in as a gift. If you're giving somebody a book, to put a bookmark in it for them. And you could make it any theme you wanted to make it, whatever their book is about. I hope that I was able to show you some things that you might like to see and have some fun and inspire you to maybe try this out with some of your window envelopes. And also, to remember the idea of just turning one wrong side out. I think that might be fun. I may do that. I would say to check through your stamps and stickers and things, and maybe that will inspire you for a theme for your shaker cards. This one I was inspired by the travel luggage there, travel theme, and in that sticker pack. This one is just kind of beads and mainly buttons and safety pins, so it's kind of generic. I don't know, gold and white. You can do colors. You know, you have your theme with color. On this one, I put a piece of this heavy scrapbook paper card, and you could write on that if you wanted to, maybe with a felt tip marker, or maybe with a gel marker in white would be better. I will link to videos in the description box below if you are interested in seeing some of my old videos on this. My one old video on shakers, but some other videos that I might have on window envelopes. I think I have a playlist on that, which I will link. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great new year, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.